Oliver Hayes sat alone in his office overlooking Canary Wharf, watching rain slide down the glass windows. At 46, he was one of Britain's richest tech entrepreneurs, founder of Hayes Digital Systems, a company worth billions. But none of the money mattered anymore. 6 months earlier, his wife Victoria had divorced him, taken a massive settlement, and moved to Milan with a younger man. They never had children. Oliver had spent most of his life chasing business success while convincing himself family could wait. Now the silence inside his luxury penthouse felt unbearable. One rainy evening, instead of attending another charity gala, Oliver drove aimlessly through East London until he spotted a tiny cafe called Maggie's Kitchen. Inside, the cafe smelled of tea and fried chips. Builders laughed near the counter while old couples shared meals in worn booths. It felt warm in a way Oliver's expensive home never did. A waitress approached him. She looked tired but kind, with auburn hair tied into a loose bun. Her badge read Sophie. "What can I get you, love?" "Just tea." "You look like you need a proper meal too." A few minutes later, she returned with shepherd's pie he hadn't ordered. "You didn't have to do that," Oliver said. "You looked hungry," she replied with a small shrug. That simple kindness stayed with him. Then he noticed a little girl sitting near the radiator coloring with broken crayons. She suddenly walked over to him. "You're sad," she said bluntly. Oliver almost laughed. "That obvious?" "A little." "What's your name?" "Evie." She pointed proudly towards Sophie. "She's my mum. She works all the time." Oliver smiled gently. "She seems strong." "She's the best mum in the world," Evie whispered. "One day we're gonna have a house with stairs." The innocence in her voice hit Oliver harder than any business failure ever had. Not a mansion. Not luxury. Just stairs. Over the following weeks, Oliver kept returning to Maggie's Kitchen. He found comfort there. Nobody cared about his wealth or reputation. To Sophie and Evie, he was simply Oliver. Slowly, he learned their story. Sophie's husband had abandoned them after gambling away their savings. She worked double shifts just to survive while raising Evie alone in a tiny rented flat. One evening, Evie looked up from her homework. "Do you have children?" Oliver hesitated. "No. Why not?" Sophie looked embarrassed. "Evie, that's personal." But Oliver quietly answered, "I spent too much time working. I thought I had forever." Sophie looked at him with quiet understanding. Sometimes people realize what matters after life gets quiet. Those words haunted him. A few nights later, Oliver arrived at the cafe and instantly sensed panic. Evie lay asleep in a booth, her cheeks burning red with fever. Sophie's hands shook while serving customers. "She's been sick all day," Sophie whispered. "But I can't afford to miss work." Oliver stared at her in disbelief. "She needs a doctor." "I know," Sophie cried softly. "But if I lose this job, we lose everything." Without another word, Oliver handed her several £1,000s. Sophie stared at the money in shock. "I can't take this." "It's not charity," Oliver said quietly. "It's what people are supposed to do for each other." That night, he drove them to the hospital himself. Doctors later confirmed Evie had a dangerous infection that could have become serious if untreated. Around 3 a.m., Sophie fell asleep beside her daughter's hospital bed from exhaustion. Oliver sat nearby watching them under dim hospital lights, and for the first time in decades, he felt something real. Over the following months, his life changed completely. He quietly helped families around the neighborhood, paid overdue heating bills anonymously, repaired playgrounds, funded school meals. Not for publicity, not for attention, because for the first time, money finally felt meaningful. Eventually, Sophie discovered who he truly was after seeing his face on a business magazine cover. "You're that Oliver Hayes?" she asked in disbelief. He smiled awkwardly. "Apparently. You're a billionaire, and you were sitting here eating beans on toast?" Oliver nodded seriously. They were excellent beans on toast. Sophie laughed so hard she nearly cried. It became the sound Oliver loved most. Months passed, and without either of them fully noticing, they became family. Oliver helped Evie with homework. Sophie challenged him whenever he became arrogant. Evie held his hand like she trusted him completely. One rainy afternoon in Hyde Park, Evie looked up at him while they walked together. "You know what? What? You don't look sad anymore." Oliver felt his throat tighten. He looked at Sophie laughing ahead of them in the rain, then down at the little girl holding his hand. For years, Oliver believed success meant becoming rich. But standing there beside them, he finally understood the truth. Real wealth wasn't money. It was having someone happy to see you come home. And somehow, inside a tiny cafe in East London, a lonely billionaire finally found the family he never knew he needed.